Oh my.
What? We're on the train. Wait,
Thordan's
what?
cheating. He's hacking. He's hacking. He's hacking.
How did he know I was there?
He's
How
hacking.
did he know I was there? Yeah, and he's full sending with no shields as well. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I got you, don't worry.
Why is he so far? Oh, he's looking for team. Yeah, look at that. He just, yeah. Fucking hell.
What
Yeah, he
the?
just knows every single.
Wow, dude, this guy's cracked. I need to learn from him, man. I genuinely need to learn from
He
this
just
guy.
knows.
You see that little super glide he did there? Dude, his aim, his movement. This is what you call 5 years of Apex experience. This guy's a goat.
Thordan Smash here, and today we're going to be talking about, well, some new stuff going on in Apex Legends. As most of you might have heard, the dropship is being removed. Don't worry, not from normal pubs or ranked, but for the competitive scene. But it could mean something for the future, as it does look like there will be some LTMs that test this as well, along with some other interesting things. And also, it's managed to piss off the pro players quite a bit, which is kind of interesting to see, because it coincides with actually the public player base also being upset about the monetization. We're going to go over everything going on in Apex Legends right now. We're also going to give out some exotic shards. All you guys got to do is like, comment, subscribe, and you're entered for a chance to win. But without further ado, let's talk about what's going on with Apex Legends and EA takeovers. So Apex Legends has been going under some pretty weird changes that maybe a lot of you have noticed. Now, we're going to talk about the monetization, but first thing I want to cover is, well, EA has decided to take over a portion of the ALGS, the competitive scene for Apex, and do something completely radical and different. Now, some of you might have seen a leak a season or two ago where EA actually went ahead and talked to the Pro League players, where they said that they were going to do a preset spawn system. That means that people would no longer randomly hot drop or contest in the ALGS. This is pretty controversial, and a lot of players are not happy about it. There's Madness right now who says, I just had the worst dream ever. Apex Legends forced a POI draft system in which the overwhelming majority of pros voted against with less than 2 weeks, showing that many players were not a fan of this, or at least pros were not. However, then you have Verholz from TSM saying super excited for the draft system, and then Imperial Hal also shooting back saying you're dumb, showing that there was clear controversy around this. And the reason why I think it is kind of controversial, at least for Apex Legends, is because, well, Apex Legends is a battle royale. It's all about the randomness that can happen and the contests. When you make it so that you just land somewhere automatically and you don't have to fight for any of the loot or the POI, then why even have POIs with different loot factors? You might as well then just make everything completely level, and then you might as well just make an arena shooter like Halo. That's part of the game. And this was something that definitely seems to be EA's plan, not so much Respawn's. As EA Sports, when this first broke, said EA lays out controversial plans to remove the dropship start from Apex Legends competitive. And at the bottom, EA believed this will be a greater test of skill, clearly indicating that this was a choice by EA. And for the longest time, there has been this absolutely crazy rumor that EA is hands off and leaves Respawn and Apex Legends completely alone. And I'm here right now to completely debunk that, because that is the most false statement I have ever heard in my life. And that entire thing comes from a quote when the game first launched, with Apex Legends executive producer Drew McCoy stating in an interview not to be throwing EA under the bus, but this wasn't the game they were expecting. I had to go to executives and show it to them and explain it and not convince them, but more, hey, trust us, this is the thing you want out of us. As a corporation, they can only quantify based on past data, and they've never done anything like this before. There's a giant rainbow question mark over revenue projections for this game. They're like, we don't know, we can't predict. This is a game we had to say, this is what we want to do, help us get there. They had no hand in development or anything about this game. Now, it's really important to know about that quote. There's a couple key takeaways. One, EA had no hand in the development. That does not mean that they currently do not have any hands in what goes on in development in the future. Along with that, he also specifically states that EA as a corporation has no ideas how to monetize this game. They can only go off of past ones, which explains a whole lot about what's going on. Because as EA CEO has recently said, Apex Legends will expand beyond the traditional Battle Royale universe this year. Sounds like they're kind of trying to go to what they've also seen in the past has been successful. Andrew Wilson also then went ahead and said there's incredible appetite, there's incredible receptiveness towards the IP, and we just haven't broken through with acquisition, engagement, and monetization yet. Yes, that is correct. This game is going to be monetized to hell, and EA is clearly doing that, and I do not believe this is Respawn, as it's coming directly from the EA CEO. And you can just look at the brand new Qatar heirlooms that are in the game as a fact that EA is once again going off of what they've seen in other games and other metrics and incorporating them into Apex. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think that the dropship thing is overall the worst thing I've ever seen. In fact, it looks like they're testing it in other ways, because there's 2 dropships that one's being tested, 2 hot zones that one's being tested, and Akimbo P2020s should come out in a season or 2 according to Oswald Atori. I'm totally cool with this being LTMs, but I don't know if changing the core gameplay of Apex Legends and what we know and love for the last 5 years to cater to a new audience is necessarily the right way to go, because you might end up alienating a lot of us that have loved this game for a long time. And if you don't think it's going to be changing, you're absolutely wrong. Because Wilson, once again, EA CEO, has stated that EA has specific plans for the next 5 to 10 years for Apex Legends, making the game more accessible and after that more culturally relevant to different markets, which, by the way, has already started. Now, I don't think this is necessarily a big issue, but they're clearly trying to break into the Chinese market because, well, as it was noticed 2 months ago in competitive Apex, the Chinese teams don't have to compete as the same as other regions. They're actually just straight up invited to compete in the ALGS. Also, our newest legend in Apex Legends, which is wildly different from almost any other character, not only in design, but in personality, is of Chinese descent, seemingly somewhat catering to that Chinese market once again. I don't think inclusion is a bad thing. I think trying to get new markets in is a great idea, but it's clear that EA is doing this to try to bring in more monetization. If you really wanted to make the game more accessible, you could always go with what XDefiant has done, where ranked matchmaking will be based on ranked and casual will be based on ping. There will be no skill-based matchmaking casual. What a novel and creative idea. I really wish Apex Legends would take a look at that. There are some cool things they are messing around with, such as the fact that Rumble ranked badges are listed here from Hypermiss, and that normal ranked league will be disabled when Rumble ranked event is active, which will be 3 strikes, solos, and quads. And interestingly enough, I heard some information the other day about how quads is apparently going to be 20 teams of 80 players, meaning that this is going to be a pretty big map that is going to have to accommodate these people. I'm thinking it won't actually release until next season when we get the new district map, and also it can be played on Stormpoint. Because funny enough, there was a data mine back in season 11 where Respawn had increased the size of their lobbies from 80 players to 100 players in private matches, and they tested 100 player lobbies recently. And interestingly enough, when that information was actually put into a YouTube video, EA actually copyright striked it. So it's definitely apparent that EA is dictating the future of this game with so many Respawn staff members leaving, and that even the staff like Drew McCoy, who said, yeah, this was our project and I convinced them, there is no one really left at Respawn with that authority that created this game to really tell EA no anymore, I think. Let me know down below, what are your guys' thoughts on EA having more influence on different parts of the game, and do you think that they are trying to make it too accessible or too different from what we all core, love, and know? Also, don't forget to check out this channel right here where I cover news on Helldivers, Power World, the finals, and so much more. And until next time, everyone, keep slaying the outlands. I'll see you out there.